Hello again. Today we're going to tie this cat's whisker lure. This is a classic old pattern. I'm not sure who came up with this. For some reason I've got a feeling it was Bob Church, but that's almost a guess, so don't quote me on that. This catches a lot of fish. I don't actually use these a lot, but when I do use them, they do normally catch me fish. So this one I've tied with a sort of a fluorescent orange bead, tungsten bead. I think these were first tied with sort of bead chain eyes and a chenille body, but like I said, this has got the tungsten bead in fluoro hot orange, and it's got a body of SLF. So anyway, let's stop waffling and get on with it. So in the vise, I'm going to put a partridge wet heavy in a size 10. These are great hooks. I've already put the bead on. Thread is a uni in olive 6/0, and I'm just going to do a few turns up by the bead, and then I'm going to run the thread down in touching turns until I get to just before the barb. And then I'm going to add the tail. Tail is white marabou. So as always with marabou, take it from the stalk, take away all these horrible bits of skin and stuff from the hide, or hide from the stalk. And as usual, just peel away, pull away some of the fluff at the bottom to give me a neater tie-in point. Now I'm going to come round, keeping it on the top. I'm just going to run the thread up nice and tight to the bead, and then I'm going to come back, tying that tail in nice and properly. Tail length, probably, I always use my scissors to measure, but it's about 2 times the hook shank, maybe 1.5 times the hook shank. And now we're going to tie in a bit of flash. The flash I'm using is Red Mirror Flash by Vineyards. I use this for a lot. Now, flash, length of the tail, full length of the tail. So I'm just going to add that onto my side. I'm going to come round, catch it 2 or 3 turns, take the other piece over to your side, catch it, run the thread up. I'll run the thread up all the way up to the bead. And now I'm going to trim the flash. Now, I'm going to take the thread down halfway, back up, and then down, just to try and even that body out a little bit. Right, so the body on this fly is just Whitlock's SLF blend number 1, and the colour is Dragonfly Olive. It's that one there, I don't know if you can see that, but we're just going to take some and dub it onto the thread. It's a nice colour, this, actually. It's not too dark. I'm just going to add that in at the back. I'm going to run that up. I'm going to put a little bit more on, because I'm going to brush this out a little bit. So I'm just going to add a bit more on there, make a little bit of a chunky body. There we go. I just want to come forward a little tiny bit. You don't need to go all the way to the eye, because I like to tie the wing in and then tie a little bit more dubbing in front of the wing. Just going to pull that dubbing back with my fingers, make a nice clean tying point. I'm just going to put a bit of wax on my thread. Wing, just go back to the marabou feather again. Take another bit, maybe slightly thinner than the first bit, but not much. And again, we're going to go through the whole, cut the bits of skin off that have come off of the stalk, pull any bits of fluff to create a neater tying point. Now I'm just going to trim the edges here. Now I want this on top, so I'm going to catch it right on top, and I'm going to make sure that it's tied in. What I did there was bring it forward any bits of the cut ends fold back, you can just use the thread to do it like I did there, and that's never pulling out. You can see it's bending the hook there. And length of the wing, pretty much the same length as the tail, but I do cut it a tad shorter. Then we're going to go back to the dubbing, and it's a very easy fly to tie this. Back to the dubbing, and we're going to build up a little bit of a thorax. Actually, I'm going to come, now I've looked at that, I'm going to come forward with that wing just a tad. So like we've said before, so I'm just going to take this wing back off. Let's bring my working thread up. Take this wing back off. I'm just going to sit it on my desk. I'm just going to put a tiny bit of dubbing. I just want that wing to be a little bit more forward than it was. There we go. Like I've said before in my videos, if you're not happy, always go back. Right, now I can show you how I actually tied that in. So we're taking the cut ends, we're coming over and we're catching them, and you can see I've got, you can see I've got these bits here. Well, I'm going to do a couple of turns and I'm going to actually fold those back. You can see as I've tightened down, they've tried to fold back. Sweep them back with my fingers and tie in. And there we have your wing back in again. And that's bang on the top, and it's never ever pulling out again. Look, I'm moving the hook. If I pulled any harder, I'd actually snap the marabou off. And then back to my dubbing. Pop some on. It's a bit of a thorax. There we have it. So now I'm going to do what I always do when I varnish a lot of flies, is just varnish the thread. So there's a nice bit of varnish on the thread, and then I'm going to come in. I'm not going to use my tool, just use my fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4's plenty. Pull it nice and tight, pull it tight, snap it, cut it off, and there you have it. That is the cat's whisker. Really quick to tie, really simple, great little pattern. And I'm just gonna give it a brush. I'm just gonna hold my wing. I'm gonna brush some of this dubbing out. Just gonna brush some of the dubbing out to make it leggy, more leggy than it is. Mind your wing, I want my wing on top. And there we go, brush some of that back into the wing as well. And there we have the cat's whisker. Give this one a go. If you're fairly new to fly tying, it's an easy one to tie, and it's, excuse me, oh dear, and it's good fun to fish, you know, catches fish. Well, there you go. As always, please like, please subscribe to the channel. It does help, and we will see you on the next one. Thank you.